Hello again, I am Blunty, and quite recently I did a sponsored video on these, the Epos 660 noise cancelling headphones, and amongst other clever things they did was use a very sophisticated beam-forming microphone array to enhance the clarity and legibility and listenability and communication ability, it's not even a word, but let's pretend it is, of your voice, which makes, even in noisy environments, using voice calls and video calls, because you speak on those as well, usually, much clearer and easier to listen to. And that's great, but what if what you need is a solution for a conference call that is about more than, well, just you in the room? Well, that's where this comes in. This uses a very similar technology, but with the idea of being in a room with other people, collaborators, team members, if you will. I can't really relate to that because people, ugh. But if you like people and like working with people, allow me to introduce to you the Epos Expand ATT. As I was kind of alluding to then, it is outside of my usual wheelhouse of things I look at in videos, but this is a sponsored video, and that gives me opportunity to look at something I wouldn't normally go, hey, I want to do a video about that, which is fun in its own right. So, on the surface, it's a sleek and unassuming speakerphone device, not unlike any number of similar devices seen on conference and meeting room tables in offices all over the planet. If you've ever been in one of those little meeting rooms, you've seen just a little dark slab of something sitting in the middle of the table. Well, it's probably a speakerphone. It has an array of 6 adaptive beam-forming microphones, which is just a fancy way to say it uses 6 different microphones in a way where it can tell which direction the speaker's voice is coming from and adapt itself to listen to that voice as clear as possible while ignoring all the other stuff that might be going on in the room. Air conditioning and the printer over there and people mumbling to themselves and taking notes and sipping their coffee. And this particular model handles up to 7 in-room speakers and makes sure every one of them can be heard clearly in a natural sounding way. Now, I don't know about you, but I've been on many conference calls over the years, and I never like it because there's always at least 1 or 2 people on those calls where you can barely hear what they're saying. It's a really ruddy microphone, and it's just a nightmare of ear-achingly bad, just echoey, boomy, noisy. I always dread conference calls for that reason. I just do. And now you're hearing me on the microphones on the device itself. And yes, while they're both microphones, it's not really fair to compare the sound quality and general tone of the microphones on this thing to the professional grade studio microphone you have been listening to me so far in the video. They're designed to do, well, they're both designed to listen to voices, but they're designed to do them in very different ways in very different kinds of environments. And I'm going to demonstrate the benefit of something like this to you in a more open meeting room kind of thing by walking away at this point, because obviously not everyone's going to be sitting directly in front of things. So I'm going to get up and I'm going to move. I'm now currently turned away from the microphone, so my voice is bouncing off the wall. I'm now, 3-4 meters away from it. I'm going to walk even further away. At this point, the studio quality microphone that I'm using won't be able to hear me at all because it is extremely directional. And deliberately so because it's, like I said, so I'm now, we'll call that 7 meters, maybe 8 meters away from the Epos ADT at this point. I haven't changed the way I'm speaking. I'm not talking any louder than I was while sitting directly in front of it. I'm speaking at the same tone of voice, and I'm turning away from it now. So now my back is to the microphone. My voice is bouncing off at least 3 different walls here, and there's a monitor between the line of sight between me and that speaker, so I don't even have direct line to that microphone. And I'm going to make my way back over to the desk now, and you shouldn't be hearing much of a difference in the tonality or the clarity of my voice, because this thing is designed, like I was talking about before, to hone in on my voice, regardless of where I am around it in the 360 degrees little bubble around the thing. But I've just demonstrated the purpose of this kind of thing, and the clarity and listenability to my voice. While it's not, obviously a studio quality signal for a voiceover or indeed a YouTube video, it is by far and away, and by leagues, by leaps and bounds, by an orbital distance, better to listen to from anywhere in the room than this thing will have been, or any other desktop style microphone would have been. And that's what these things are for. That's what they're designed to do. And that's why you need to own one if you need to do that kind of thing in a meeting room kind of situation where not everyone is in the ideal position to have their own individual microphones all mic'd up to them and going through a mixing desk and all that kind of fiddly-do. I mean, that's why these things exist. Connectivity-wise, it comes with a USB cable for connection directly to a PC or Mac. It can also wirelessly connect to your devices over Bluetooth, and even has an NFC thing for a fast and seamless connection to your smartphone. So you just wave your smartphone over and it connects using the usual NFC stuff. It even has a little USB dongle right here that has a little storage bay right in there for it. So you know when you're moving this thing about from meeting room to meeting room, you're unlikely to lose that thing because it has a little hole. It has a little space for it right in there. And it will even remember 7 individual separate Bluetooth devices. So if you do move it from room to room, from device to device, using it with the computer, using it with the phone, using it with the tablet, whatever, it will remember that stuff. So you don't have to resync it individually to those things every single time. You can just turn it on, use the device you want to be using, and you're done. And if the thought hasn't already occurred to you by now, I'm now going to tell you why the word expand is in the name of the product. It's because you can, wait for it, expand it. You can buy little satellite speakers you can plug in to expand the number of individual people it can track at once in a single room. In fact, with one additional speaker, you can go to 11 individual speakers, and with another one, you can go all the way up to 18 individual speakers all in one room. Although, again, in this day and age, as the world moves forward, it's unlikely we'll be allowed to have that many people in a single room anymore. But, you know, just in case we ever get our poop in gear and get to a place where we're allowed to have up to 18 people in a room at the same time, yeah, you can get there with this. On the hardware side, it's typical of Epos's engineers' attention to detail. It's not just in the sort of understated design language, but right down to the teeny tiny details. Like, for example, they're using a Kvart fabric. Not sure if I'm saying that right. Let me read it for you. Where's my script? Kvrat, Kvut, Kvadrat. The fabric they've got on here. It has been specifically chosen because it's better at dampening audio resonance to help contribute to the natural sound. Controls are simple and clearly marked. Soft touch buttons, sealed. There's no place for a sort of grot to get in, so cleaning is nice and easy. And if you're using it in a shared environment, that's kind of important too, isn't it? So you've got your mute and your volume and your hang up and answer call and your Bluetooth thing and your NFC thing. And it even has a dedicated button down here for Microsoft Teams. So you can just hit that button. Microsoft Teams loads up and does its thing. And as you've been seeing, it's a very tidy unit designed to look like it's minding its own business and small and light enough to easily be transportable to new locations when needed. And outside of using it for conference calls, it can be used as a Bluetooth speaker as well. Now, it's not something that's going to blow the ears off an audiophile, but if you just want a little background music in the office and whatnot, it does a remarkably good job of that. I've been using it myself for that. But if you have been on the lookout for something in this line of kind of devices, something for this new socially distanced, work from home, work in smaller groups kind of world that we're heading into and looks like we're going to stay there for quite some time, which is fine by me because, again, people, well, quite frankly, I doubt you'll find engineers who know better about sort of audio stuff than those flying under the Epos flag. I've said it every single time I've looked at an Epos product, sponsored video or not. The people who, you know, the nerds who design this stuff, forget about the marketers and forget about the people who give these things names and advertising slogans and things like that. But the nerds who make this stuff, I like them. I like them quite a lot because they really know how to do things elegantly, cleanly, and sounding really, really nice. So, thank you for watching. I am Blunty. I hope you've remembered to subscribe and do the thumb and all that kind of stuff and comment and what's not. And thank you to Epos for sponsoring this video. And give me a look at a device. Like I said in the opening, I wouldn't have normally picked up for myself because I don't have a big need for a conference calling speakerphone kind of thing. But now I have one at my home. I'm finding all kinds of nifty little uses for it. I edited a video with this the other day because my headphones were flat. I didn't put them on the charger right. So I used this instead. It went great. And thank you, as always, to the patrons scrolling up above there, of course. Thank you so much for your above and beyond support. And I will catch you next time.